Hi guys, the Horror Appraisal here. I'm Sam,
And I'm Evan.
and today we're going to continue on with our year-by-year top 5 of the 1980s decade.
That's right. We're up to 1981 right now. So here's our top 5 for 1981.
Oh, we're going to get right into it. Well, I want to say that 1981 was this year that was really hard for us.
It was.
And
It was a difficult list to make.
This list is going to change probably by next week.
Yeah.
But at least you'll have some bearing on where our minds are at when we're thinking about 1981.
And once again, there'll probably be some films on here that you expect, and
Controversy.
maybe some that will surprise you.
If you get pissed off, let us know. We love that.
Leave comments.
Number 5, My Bloody Valentine.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by George Mahalka.
Yeah, My Bloody Valentine is one of those movies that we got it a few years ago, and we were taking a look at it, and they left so much out of it, and we really didn't think much of it.
It was terrible, honestly, because it came from...
Canada.
There's too much violence, eh?
We don't want to offend our neighbors to the north.
Err.
Their beer sucks.
Oh,
But
You can't kill anybody in a movie, eh?
yeah. But then years later, they actually released a director's cut of My Bloody Valentine.
Totally different film.
Yeah, totally. It actually became a good film. It became a good horror.
It became
film.
our number 5 slasher for 1981.
Yeah.
Number 5 horror movie.
Every time I'm in a laundromat, I think of My Bloody Valentine
Because
there's a great scene in it involving a laundromat.
What happens?
It's a slasher movie. Someone gets killed. Interestingly,
A poor old lady gets
In a
put into
laundromat.
an industrial grade gas powered dryer and she gets cooked.
yeah. Do they have gas powered dryers?
Yeah, we got them at work, the same ones. They have flames coming out the top, dude.
Holy crap!
So they go really hot.
Wow.
That's why she's cooked.
It turns her into soup.
Yeah, it's totally believable. And it smells like just meat cooking. I mean, you imagine walking in and smelling like, who's cooking pot roast?
Yeah. Oh, that's gross.
My favorite kill from this is, what do you think it is?
Would it be pickaxe to the chin?
Ah, yeah, pickaxe
Yeah.
to the chin. This guy thinks it's so funny to have like this thing set up, and he's like, ah, over and over again. His little rigged pickaxe comes out,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden,
That's right. He's got it set up to scare kids. It's like
Yeah.
a thing he's got set up to scare
it
children.
ends up being the real guy on the 5th time he opens it, and blah, through it, and he gets drugged by his chin. You didn't see any of that shit. I mean, in the edited version. So the director's cut really gave us a slasher film. It was awesome, and it's a violent film. Also, another thing about this, the chick that gets put on the shower head.
Oh yeah.
It's so scary. It's a
was.
scary film.
It was. Like I said, it was enough that when it made with the director's cut, it actually ended up making our top 5.
Yeah. If it hadn't been a director's cut, it wouldn't have been our top 20.
Yeah. Number 4.
What is it?
It's The Prowler.
Directed by Joseph Zito.
Mm-hmm. And The Prowler's it's another slasher film. It's kind of a unique take. It's about a guy in World War II who, by letter, his girlfriend breaks up with him.
As happened to so many veterans overseas.
And so basically he goes crazy and comes home and starts to kill everybody.
And the alternate title, Rosemary's Killer.
And it was known as Rosemary's Killer. I forgot about that.
The killer in this is really scary. It's very creative. He's got this garb over his face. He's all tactical. He's World War II tactical.
It's the gas mask, isn't it? No, it's not a gas mask.
That's My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, my bad. But
it's just like a garb. I mean, it's just...
But the thing that I think separates The Prowler from other slashers is the total ambiance of the film. To me, it almost feels like this is a wraith or a ghost walking through.
He's very haunting.
Yeah. I think that The Prowler is a very scary horror film. It's a very scary slasher in a way that a ghost movie would be a very scary movie. That's what to me makes The Prowler
effective.
Especially the end part of the film, very tremendously effective.
Can you imagine can you maybe tell the viewers why the kills in this movie are so effective?
Well, probably because Tom Savini did the special effects.
Tom Savini had something to do with something awesome?
Right.
Is green green?
Yeah.
Is beer?
But yeah, so...
You have a favorite kill?
It's the cat and mouse scene where he kind of just plays with the girl in the pool.
Oh, he slits her throat, right?
Yeah, but like
And the blood's
it's
kinda
it's
laser.
worse though. Like it's
Kicks her in the head.
yeah, it's terrible. But like it's very effective. I think.
It's completely Tom Savini style, I think. I love the part where the chick's in the shower and she gets the pitch, because there's no stopping it. I mean, he pushes the pitchfork towards her and it just goes right under her boob, like right in her torso. And then the dude gets stabbed in the head too, and that's great kills in The Prowler. And you'll notice something similar about the music to the Friday the 13th series. Go ahead and check it out.
Oh, okay, I actually forgot about that.
It's kind of like watching a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah, but like I said, great ambiance. So number 3.
One of those childhood favorites that we watched at Halloween, and we got all amped up.
You know, this is a sequel to an original movie, and I actually saw this one, I think, before I even saw the original.
I think a lot of us did that were in that. You know, if we weren't born in 1970.
Yeah, it's Halloween 2.
Yeah, this one amped up the violence, amped up the scares, and amped up the believability of Michael Myers being invincible.
Yeah, I agree, because of course it takes place moments after the end of the first film, after
That's my son of 6 times.
after he disappears from the lawn. He's going after Laurie again. She's in the hospital. They use a hospital as like the background for this film.
Why is the hospital so scary?
I don't know. I think we're all inherently afraid of hospitals anyway.
I think it's
they make
because-
us nervous.
I think part of it is Michael Myers is so at home in a facility like that because he's been in a psych unit since he was a kid.
I didn't think about that.
He knows the nooks and crannies. He knows the behaviors of staff. He's acutely aware of everything.
Well, the staff of the hospital. This place has got terrible nurses.
Yeah, there's yeah. The one ambulance guy is like, he's all about like being the worst guy ever, and somehow he lands this hot chick, which she ends up boiled in a whirlpool.
Yeah, but Halloween 2, like I said, to me, like, it kind of showcases Michael Myers as like the Terminator. Like, he's really unstoppable.
I think Rick Rosenthal did an excellent job of just continuing the legacy, and the music in this is amped up in its intensity and abrasiveness, and I just get it. I mean, it continues on that night, and really the first Halloween is honestly just kind of a glimpse at Michael Myers, and the second one is a very intimate look at even how he's kind of stalks, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, too, in Halloween 2, we realize just why he's after her anyway.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Halloween's going to be our favorite movie in the Halloween series, but Halloween 2 is...
Great movie.
The other movies in the series don't touch it.
And just last thing, of course, great performance by Donald Pleasance, as always.
You really get... In the first movie, you kind of get, like, this pursuit, but in the second movie, you really get a taste for good versus bad, and a nemesis to Donald Pleasance as Dr. Sam Loomis. And you really get a sense of it being his mission to stop Michael Myers.
But Halloween 2, great classic.
Number 2 we talked about already. We did a very lengthy review on it.
Number 2 is The Howling.
By Joe Dante.
Directed by Joe Dante, starring Dee Wallace.
Starring lookalike Tom Atkins.
Poor man's Tom Atkins.
I mean, obviously, we won't go at length into it. It's got the best werewolf transformation scene. It makes a classic movie out of a modern movie. It is daring for its time. It gives you so many things that are just really scary.
I just like the idea of it plucking people out of the city and depositing them with this other way of life. I think
the colony.
The colony. We kind of touched on it in our review of The Howling, of taking people out of one horrible situation into another.
It's such a pure werewolf movie, and it offers a unique perspective. I mean, because you see these werewolves and they're not all of a sudden unaware of their behavior. They are suddenly at home in their body. I think when they transform into a werewolf, it's suddenly like they're becoming their real self, and they can be aggressive, they can be unadulterated, and it's basically their subconscious just coming to life. I think. Okay, so before we get to number 1, we're going to do the honorable mention, and the honorable mention is probably going to piss a couple people off because A, it may not include one of the films that you feel deserve to be an honorable mention, and it probably doesn't. It probably is the reason a film is left out of the top 5 that you want to be in the top 5. Yeah. And some of you may even want it to be number 1. I don't know. It's crazy that things. You guys are crazy. Anyway. And if you get pissed off, let us know.
So honorable mention goes to American Werewolf in London.
That's right. It's American Werewolf in London. It's a great movie.
It is. It's a great movie.
It's an awesome movie.
We're not disputing that. It just, for me personally, it doesn't make my top 5 because it doesn't grab me the way the other films did. And if I'm going to have one werewolf movie on here, it's going to be The Howling.
John Landis kind of took the werewolf and turned it into a party animal.
Well, it's just, it doesn't connect with you. I feel, when I think of like American Werewolf in London, it's a movie kind of from this guy's point of view who's been infected. It's almost like, if a guy has an incurable disease and he's told he's got a few days to live, it's kind of like, how do you spend your last few days?
And unfortunately, he spends his last few days haunted by victims of him.
Yeah.
Of the werewolf.
His friend, yeah.
The movie squarely focuses on the results of the undead and how they feel about being killed, and a lot less on the werewolf. I mean, the transformation's cool, but it's just not the same as The Howling. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to insult anybody, but the werewolf just isn't as good. It's like this mechanical, unfeeling thing that is a beast on a wheelbarrow, essentially being pushed around by a staffer. And when you look at it, I mean, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, there's a scene where it's like you're seeing it over above, and it's like you can almost see the person pushing it.
So we're not disputing the fact that American Werewolf in London is a great horror movie. We're trying to justify why it didn't necessarily make our top 5.
Exactly. And I love American Werewolf in London, and I push it on people because it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that brings us to number 1.
It's number 1 time.
What do you think you can guess what it is?
We'll give you a second to guess. Okay, we're done.
The music score has a flexitone being used.
Yeah, that's going to be a great hint for everyone. It's directed by Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi gave us the Evil Dead.
Absolutely.
Bruce Campbell came to life, developed a wonderful career because of this one, and Evil Dead changed the face of horror history.
It did.
Right?
When I was a kid, my first kind of exposure to this series of films was like 1992 or 93 when Army of Darkness came out.
Same for me.
And it was years later that my friend in high school, Anthony Baldwin, he's actually a subscriber to this channel, he said, well, you've got to see the films that came before this. And of course, that was the first time I watched Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I saw it when I was 19 with my mom. You were younger. You were 14.
Yeah,
right,
with your brother. I saw it when I was like 14 or 15 with my buddy Anthony. And you watched it with your mom?
I watched it with my mother.
Oh my gosh!
During the scene where the poor girl gets the tree in her snatch, my mom was like, "What are you watching? What did you bring home from Blockbuster?"
Why? How could you watch Evil Dead with your mom?
And she was actually scared by the movie because she took the demonic possession thing really seriously, and I do too. I mean, I think this is a scary movie.
Yeah.
Well, you're not any better, man. You watched it before church.
I wasn't gonna tell that story. What happened was my brother came in from college and he'd never seen it, and we were watching it. And we were watching it in my room, and it was one Sunday morning, and my mother walked in and saw it, and she was so pissed. She's like, "What's wrong with you?"
We're getting ready to worship the Lord, and you're watching Evil Dead.
Yeah, it's, in retrospect, it wasn't a great idea.
No.
Yeah, but
no.
So, Evil Dead, of course, set the tone for a lot of horror films.
We can't really pick a favorite scene from this because it's just such a great movie from start to finish, and it just as soon as Cheryl gets possessed and you see like the card scene, it's just all downhill from there.
That's my favorite part, actually.
Right.
That's to me was when I knew I was watching kind of a scary movie. And the cool thing about Evil Dead is, I guess it does come off as cheesy to people, but the thing is they did set out to make a really serious film.
It took 3 years.
Yeah, and even though it looks more cheaply made, a lot of love and sweat and work went into making Evil Dead.
Just when the chick is chopped up and she's on the floor and they got the individual parts moving, and you think about each person under there kind of moving things around. I mean, just every individual detail of what went into this. Sam Raimi was like, hey, I know how to handle camera, and I know how to do it without paying attention to what you guys think that I should be doing with the camera.
Yeah.
So, But before we kind of recap all these, we're going to tell you some movies that did not make our top 6, our top 5 with an honorable mention. They did not make any of these, but we think you should watch them.
Yeah.
So, what is it?
Check out first kind of thing that didn't make our list. Friday the 13th Part 2, great sequel, and first time we see Jason.
And a very intense one. I love it. It's got some of the best kills of the series and the best ass in horror history, almost.
Next one is
The Beyond from Lucio Fulci.
The cool thing about this movie, great Italian flair to it, great music.
You'll enjoy the way the music plays along with cinematography.
Especially the final scene.
Yep. What's next?
Burial Ground.
One of the best zombie movies of all time.
It's we always say that about zombie movies, but this one is very unique just because it's got some messed up characters in it.
Why is there a dwarf playing a 10-year-old boy?
I guess they had to get a dwarf to play the 10-year-old boy because he desires
an adult.
Huh?
They had to have an adult
because he desires an incestuous relationship with his mother.
He is all over his mom's shit the whole movie.
Yeah, well.
And he ends up, once he becomes a zombie, he eats her boob. He's like, oh, mommy.
He does.
But the funny note about that, the woman that stars in this as the mother did not remember making the movie.
Yeah, we watched that on the special feature. She's like, I don't remember making this movie.
I don't remember.
But maybe she just told people that. But anyway, next one is a movie you know. I don't know it that well. I didn't really.
What, The Burning?
Well, I'm sorry. I thought
The Burning is amazing.
Forget it. That'll be the next movie. The Burning is an amazing
Mr. Savini
movie.
was an amazing fixture in this.
Of course, it's another camp slasher movie.
Cropsey.
What's his name?
Cropsey.
But it's a revenge. It's a revenge movie about a guy who gets burned and by these campers and
such good slashers.
Yeah, it's a great slasher, and he's out for revenge. The next movie is the one that I'm kind of cold on.
It's The Boogans.
The Boogans.
I love The Boogans.
What the heck is The Boogans?
I got it on Blu-ray. It's a kind of a monster movie, and I mean, you got this thing chasing people around and kind of in the dark, but I like it.
Is
I think
it's a Boogan?
It's a Boogan.
What's a Boogan?
The Boogans.
What do they look like?
They're a monster. It's just a monster.
Okay. Okay.
What's next?
Dead and Buried.
Robert Englund's in this one.
Yeah, he's got a small part in it.
Yeah.
Dead and Buried is this really cool movie. Notably, it has the grandpa from the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in it. And he plays like the mortician, and it's kind of got a twist ending that predates like a movie like The Sixth Sense. I always felt that this movie influenced M. Night Shyamalan.
Mr. Shyamalan.
Yeah, because it's a great twist ending.
Mr. Shyamalan.
Dead and Buried.
Evil Speak. Clint Howard stars in this.
How did Clint Howard
star in a horror movie?
Not win an award for this film?
Honestly, I think he does a good job in it.
It's Clint Howard, but it's not. It's
Clint Howard. Clint Howard revels in his ugliness and terrible acting. He's made a career out of it. Who else can say that?
He's admitted on camera that he's not a good-looking man.
I am not a good-looking man. But there is one of the best kills in all of horror history in this. I mean, he's flying through the air with a sword and split this guy's head in half. I mean, it's crazy.
It was just, you didn't expect to see that out of Clint Howard.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And what's next?
Fear No Evil. One of my favorites.
Scary
actually.
movie.
Very scary movie.
Devil kind of thing.
It's bad guys, the Antichrist.
Son of Satan.
He grows up as the son of Satan, and
he does a lot of terrible things.
He does a lot of terrible things to people, and it's just.
Why nobody puts him down I guess it's because he's the son of Satan.
Yeah, I mean, you don't mess with that guy in school.
Just leave him alone. He's upstairs.
Yeah, but next would be
Toby Hooper's Funhouse,
which I've actually never seen this film.
I have not watched it in its entirety. I've caught glimpses of it, and I want to watch the whole thing because it looks good. It's like a slasher kind of thing, kind of a monster, messed up guy in a funhouse.
Okay. The next one is one of my really favorite kind of ghost movies. It's stars Fred Astaire. I think John Houseman is in it. Alice Krige, who many people know as the Borg Queen from Star Trek. But it's based on the Peter Straub novel Ghost Story, and basically it's about a group of people who accidentally kill a girl back in the day, and they put her in a car and throw her in the lake, and but she's not dead.
Not enough good ghost movies out there. You should check it.
There's not. So of course she comes back for revenge. I watched this when I was a kid. It was very scary. This one kept me up at night. I remember specifically.
Speaking of ghost movies, House by the Cemetery is kind of a ghost movie.
Yeah,
that's the next one.
Yeah, House by the Cemetery.
Mr. Fulci gave us this one as well, so it was a two movie year for him, just like it was for Tom Savini.
Mm-hmm.
This movie has one of the best throat slashings of all time, and it is thoroughly creepy.
Yeah, very.
Yeah,
very, absolutely. Happy Birthday to Me. I've never seen this.
It's
movie.
another slasher among a bunch of great slashers. Some of you really enjoy this, but for me, it's really hard to follow. The story is kind of lacks it lacks in being memorable.
Yeah, probably one of the most well-known films that didn't make our top 5, but we still had to mention because it was made in 1981. Scanners.
Scanners is a great movie from Michael Ironside.
Absolutely,
you're gonna blow your head up.
Yeah, Scanners is just it had one of those
great acting,
good effects, interesting story.
We should probably watch it again because we probably move it up in our list a little bit.
Yeah, maybe so. And the last one,
Wolfen. It's the third werewolf movie that's being mentioned in this list. And how many other years have 3 werewolf movies other than like CG Fest?
That's true.
I mean, these are not just like regular werewolf. These are all 3 influential. And Wolfen, I admit, I haven't seen since I was a little kid, but I remember being okay.
Actually, I don't think I've ever seen all of Wolfen.
Anyway, from Friday the 13th Part 2 to Wolfen, those are our movies that we feel like you should check out that did not make our top 5 or honorable mention.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the point of these lists a lot of time is to tell you guys about stuff that, it'd be cool if you checked out as horror fans, check these films out. They don't necessarily make our top list, but they're worth a view.
It's a big list for 1981. They're all power players. I mean,
absolutely.
There are other movies from 1981, but these are the ones we feel like you should watch. Anyway, to recap our main list, what was an honorable mention?
Honorable mention was An American Werewolf in London.
Number 5, My Bloody Valentine.
Number 4, The Prowler.
Number 3, Halloween 2.
Number 2, The Howling.
And number 1, The Evil Dead. You should check all of these films out and more. I'm Sam.
And I'm Evan.
Thank you for watching The Appraisal.
Have a good day. Have a good day. Bye.